Hi there. Today I'm taking a look at a dry sherry, but not necessarily one that most people will think about. Sherry can be aged in one of three towns in what they call the sherry triangle. At the north, Jerez de la Frontera, obviously the largest town, gave its name to the region. To the west, by the coast, you have Sanlúcar de Barrameda, which is where Manzanilla comes from, with its sort of fabulous sort of salty tones that often people talk about it being representative of the nearby sea. And then to the south, less well known, Puerto de Santa Maria. I suppose traditionally Puerto would have been the place that sherry was shipped from. It's just across the bay from Cadiz. So probably, as I say, less well known than the others. So the wine we're looking at today is Fino del Puerto, from a producer called Lustau. Lustau are a historic house. They were founded in 1896 as an almacenista, so a storehouse, aging wines that other houses could buy to blend. They also had some of their own vines, but they were just quite a small house up until the 1950s when they started exporting and expanded their operation. So the styles of dry sherry are all created by the growth of a floor yeast, which sort of causes a film over the top of the barrels as a dry sherry ages. And this film of yeasts it makes sure the wine is completely dry. For instance, it'll eat up any existing sugars that are left. It consumes some of the alcohol there. It gives the sort of fantastic aldehydic, salty tang to sherry. So the conditions under which a sherry ages decide how thick the growth of floor is and how vigorous its growth is, and so how much of this aldehyde is created. And that is regulated by the temperature conditions in the town where the wines age. Thus, Manzanilla, aging in Sanlúcar de Barrameda, has more of this floor character, has a more salty note, because in the cooler conditions of Sanlúcar de Barrameda, the floor can grow thicker and more vigorously, and it imparts more of these flavours. Puerto, because it's in the Bay of Cadiz, it's sheltered, has less of that character. Probably still slightly more floor character than you'll get from a Fino that's been aged in Jerez, but it's a softer style there, supposedly, because the floor grows slightly less vigorously. So anyway, let's taste the wine and see what we make of it. First thing to say is you've got a yellow colour. It's a sort of a straw yellow, maybe a hint of goldishness there, but it's a medium depth. It's not particularly dark. The wine doesn't seem to be showing much in the way of tears, and that's probably indicative of the fact that anything that's in the wine has been consumed, any sugars or whatever has been consumed by the floor, and thus it's actually quite light-bodied. Smelling it, certainly there's a pungency. There is a saltiness, but there's almost a sort of a whetstone minerality as well, a slight sort of struck match note coming to it. So it's not quite as cleanly floor as you might get from a Manzanilla. But let's taste the wine and see what we think. First thing to say is that that's absolutely bone dry, as it would be, because the floor has eaten any of the sugars that the fermenting yeasts couldn't consume. There's a lovely, tangy, salty note, but salty too. There are hints of sort of candied peel coming through there. There's actually a sort of a fruity, almost a slight lemoniness to the wine. Behind it also there's perhaps, and again might be coming from the yeast, a slight dairy note, a sort of a creamy aspect to the back palate. The body is actually quite light and crisp. I've got this beautifully fresh and cold, and it's lovely and refreshing, and there's a real sort of cut to the finish there as the sort of aldehydic notes come through. The alcohol's at 15%. It doesn't close up the finish, it doesn't mar the fruit, that sort of combination of saltiness and candied peel combining beautifully on the finish there. What that would work really nicely would be brined olives or something like that. Could also pair it beautifully with seafood. So yeah, Puerto Fino, everybody. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed it, do join us again. Bye now.